Kick assets. Cha-ching.
So here I'm just going for a walk in Tokyo, and I decided to make a video on what's been on my mind, you know. It's just something that needs to be said. It's my opinion. Maybe everybody else thinks differently or whatever. And maybe somebody's already talked about it. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen anything. And I just figured that I should get it off my chest, and maybe there are other people that agree with me. But just going through life experience and what I've seen in Japan and around the world, just something that I think needs to be talked about. So I'll talk about it while I'm walking through Tokyo here and checking out a park or whatever. So if the sound's a little noisy, I apologize, but testing out my new mic system here and my new camera, my 360 camera. Yep, and I just finished another contract for another place, so yeah, life is crazy. So, what number? We'll see. Can't make it that boring, can I? And I got my taco shirt here. Taco cat shirt. Okay. Because I like cats and I like tacos. And if you spell it backwards, it's the same thing. All right, so let me get on with it here. Where to start? So, this has been something I've been thinking of for a while now, and watching the whole Akiya boom grow bigger and bigger. While growth is generally a good thing, there's a side to this that really, really worries me. Because some people are trying to grow too fast, if you know what I mean. And that could actually hurt the Akiya ecosystem as a whole, the whole community, you know? I mean, you might not see the results right away, but maybe you will. You know, whether you see it through how people treat you, rules, laws, the government, we don't know, right? So this is just something that's been on my mind. And so I know solving the Akiya problem in Japan isn't easy, and it's not something that can or should happen overnight. But if we keep trying to push things too quickly, we risk drawing unwanted attention from locals, from politicians, or even the Japanese government. So yeah, something that needs to be really talked about and taken seriously. And here's the truth. We don't want major changes and restrictions on real estate for foreigners, right? It's kind of common sense. I'd personally be fine, obviously, because I live here and I've been doing it for so long, but it's all the outsiders that'll be screwed. And, you know, what do I care? I mean, I'm doing all right. But I just want to see things go smoothly, right? And work out great for everybody. So there are a lot of people that'll be hurt. I have permanent residency, but people who don't live here full time are going to be hurt by this if something did happen. Nobody can say what can happen or what will happen, but you can see the cracks in the dam here. And if you're not cautious, it's going to break. And it probably, maybe already has been hit enough to break. Huh. All right, let's just explore down here. Sorry. See if it's a dead end or not. We'll have some fun while talking with you. So, I mean, what bothers me though is that some people just don't see it, or they don't see the bigger picture. They're just focused on the daily grind of scaling their business or, you know, making money, which is fine. We got to make money, and it's cool to have a business that makes money, but there's also consequences of that sometimes, right? And, you know, while this mindset works very well in North America, honestly, Japan is different. Yes, there are people that, you know, would disagree or who do things differently here in Japan, which is fine. But for the most part, the Japanese on a whole aren't like that as much, you know. If you've been here long enough, you can feel that, and I have. So that's just my opinion. So the typical Western grow fast, make money business model doesn't simply work here. And money isn't always the main goal in Japan, right? Well, certainly not a huge amount anyways. Obviously they want to make money, but their goal is not to like make millions and billions of dollars and like destroy the whole neighborhood. I mean, well, I think it wasn't. Huh, interesting. This is a special entrance, but what is this? Okay. Wow. So, oh, it's not open on Mondays. That's the issue. Well, so much for seeing the park here. Why would you close the park? All right, I guess we'll be walking down a different street now. Sorry guys. So yeah, basically Japanese people don't go, their goal when they're running a business is, yeah, they want to make money, but they want to make a living and they want to bring something to the community a lot of places. And obviously there are a lot of greedy people here in Japan as well, but I'd say on average, the average Japanese person is like that. You'll see a lot of mom and pop shops, which is, it's cute and you want to support them, but they're not here to get greedy. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that because, you can't just judge other people by the way they live their lives, but you just got to be cautious, that's all, So, yeah, so the money isn't always the main goal in Japan. And, well, at least that's the vibe I've gotten here, being here for 25 years. I could be totally wrong. And you got to remember, I haven't lived in Tokyo for a lot of it, so Tokyo might be different, but from the smaller towns and the rest of the country, the farther you get out, definitely not like that at all. I mean, there's a phrase in Japan. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it was deru kugi wa utareru. That's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Which basically means the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. Deru kugi wa utareru. Yeah, I haven't used that phrase in a long time, but it's a good phrase, I like it. And it's a good thing. And it basically, if you stand out too much in Japan, you get hammered down. And the issue with that, it means you might attract too much attention and you risk being pushed down. And the scary part is that sometimes you'll be pushed down farther than you would have been if you just went the safe route, without attracting attention. So that's just something to keep in mind. And that I've seen that particular phrase be applied in Japan many, many, many times. And that's one thing that annoys Japanese about foreigners sometimes, is that they're more pushy to get the way they want, whereas Japanese are more reserved, and they're basically yes people, so of course they agree to the foreigners. But yeah, they just want to keep everybody equal. Whether you agree with that mentality or not, this is Japan, It has its pluses, but it also has its drawbacks, obviously, because it makes it harder for you to be unique. But hey, it all comes down to my favorite word, which is balance. So you got to know when to do it and how far to go with it. So, I mean, we're already seeing the warning signs of this as the governments are considering new restrictions, And also, I mean, they've already changed the visa requirements for the business visa from 5 million to 30 million yen, and that's already killed a lot of opportunities, if not most. I mean, that alone should be a massive warning. I mean, at least for me it is, because who can now afford 30 million yen? Most people who want to come here and do the business ideas and have all those entrepreneur ideas in their head, they're not going to have 30 million yen. As the people who have the 30 million yen to do the visa stuff won't, why would they bother doing it here? Because they're already doing well in life. So it's just, I think it was a mistake by the government to do that, but I'm trying to understand why, but I guess I do understand why. It's hard to judge, right? It is what it is, and it happened. So for me, that was a massive warning. It was a massive red flag. I mean, like I said, that change alone has crushed countless dreams. And so why do people keep ignoring these signs? I have no idea. Am I the only one that thinks like this? I have no idea, because I don't talk to that many people. But I can see how it's not good, right? I mean, I'm from Vancouver, Canada, so I have experience from the market there, in the sense. I mean, I didn't live there, but I kept an eye on it, and I have family who are there too, right? So, yeah, basically in Vancouver, it was like maybe around 2010. I had a condo there in 2004, which I sold in 2007. It was starting to go up like crazy. And I thought it would be like slow down there, but it didn't. And around 2010 and beyond, the market went insane. Like it was raising like crazy because a lot of foreign investors were coming in, a lot from China, right? And so what happened is that the government was, they were having a breakdown. What do we do about this? So in I think it was 2016 around there, they implemented a buyer's tax for foreigners, which was like 15 to 20% on tax. So a foreign buyer's tax on the properties, It slowed down the market a little bit, obviously, but, rich people who already are rich and the little extra money doesn't mean anything. I guess it stifled it a little bit, but it didn't kill anything. So, if something like that happened here, that'd be crazy. The only good point about, or okay point about that fact is that 15% of a already cheap Akiya doesn't really do much, but it will hurt bigger investments in Tokyo or maybe Saitama, right? Because, who wants to pay 15% extra or whatever number they decide on, if they ever decide that? We don't know, but that's a possibility, right? And something, when I was in Kuala Lumpur for travel, I was looking into buying a property there for fun because I like the city. And they told me, oh, you can't buy land here, but we'll sell you a condo and it has to be above 30 million yen. I'm like, what the hell? So that was an interesting law, and I like the law. It's a great idea because you protect your land of your country. But it honestly sucks for people like me or foreigners who want to invest in the country because I don't like buying condos to begin with, let alone overpriced ones, no matter how nice they are, because you don't own the land, right? Oh, look at all the bathtubs. That's cool. It's interesting. Triangle, that's a weird shape one. Not triangle, sorry, my bad. Can't remember my Pythagorean theory. Man, it's been a long time since I've been in school. What's that? Pythagorean theory. I can't remember. Look like an idiot now. So anyhow, I thought that was cool that Kuala Lumpur did that. And you still could buy in the country and own, but you can only buy certain things. So if something happened like that here in Japan, well, there goes your Akiya market. It'd be pretty insane, right? Let's go check out the other side of the street here for some more views. What a beautiful street this is. Look at that, everybody. Very peaceful. So basically when Kuala Lumpur did that, I don't know when it started from, but I thought it was an interesting idea. It limits that. So if that happened here in Japan, how many people would actually just want to buy a $300,000 condo here? I wouldn't. And obviously Tokyo's a lot more expensive, so there are no really 300,000 condos. You'd have to move a little bit outside of Tokyo, or inside Tokyo, but on the outskirts of it, because Tokyo's gone up a lot. Back in the day, 2007, when I bought my condo, that was $200,000, 20 million yen. But that was 2006, and that was the cheapest one in Tokyo, and that was a bargain. Nothing like that ever since. You can buy a used one, but these are just details of different possibilities of rules they could put in. And we have no idea what they're thinking or what they can do. But the point is that stuff like this can happen, and honestly, might happen, like will happen. So, that's not good, right? Konnichiwa. Nice little kid. So that's why we need to stop to avoid drawing attention to us while we're here, because the more attention we draw to ourselves doing this, it's not good. It's good for business in some ways, but it's also bad because, there's jealous people obviously out there, but I'm not worried about them. It's the jealous people in the wrong parts of the government that might push different rules on you, right? Because they're like, because you know how Japan reacts to things. They don't react like, maybe we'll do this or that. They act yes or no, and they'll just cut it all off. So that's scary if that ever happened, right? Because they care about Japan first, And so, and we don't want to break the wall of Japan, obviously, right? So breaking the wall in Japan is not a good thing. whether it's in business and or just daily life. So, I mean, by bringing aggressive foreign approaches to business or ideas in life here, doesn't always go over too well. Some might smile at you and say okay, but in their mind you're like, no, F that shit, excuse my language. But it's the truth, you know? And until you live here a long time, you don't understand these kind of things. So I expect Japanese to know these things and foreigners who've been here a long time. So the people who don't notice them or don't care, it's kind of like, it ticks me off, even though I'm not even a Japanese person. It still ticks me off because I want to keep Japan. So, and that's where the argument comes in. Where do you stop? Where do you draw the line? Well, yeah, it's a tough one. Until it's too late, you don't know sometimes, right? As we've seen in foreign countries like Canada or America or Australia or, you know, England, where prices are just way too expensive. So it's a tough one, right? And until stuff goes up, you never know when to say, oh, it's too late. You know, the image is, oh, Japan's cheap, blah, blah, blah. There's reason this, reason that. Hey, that's what Vancouver was back when I was buying. Remember when I was buying a condo and I bought my condo for $72,000 in East Van? I was getting the reasons, oh, there's a reason it's cheap in East Van because it's a crap hole, blah, blah, all this crap. And I'm like, I still think it's going to go up. And I was right, it did go up. It went up 100K in 3 years. And my point of the story there is that those same people who are telling me, oh, it's a crap hole, are saying, now that's the reason it's going up because Vancouver's an amazing city. So too many people just go along with the flow and, I don't know, mass media bullcrap information. They don't think for themselves. And it's like, come on, man. Knock it off. So they're just the mob think, I'll call it. And, you know, that's how Japan is right now. But it may change. It probably will change, you know. So, anyhow, a good Aussie once told me, one of my friends, his phrase was, all things come in time, Colin. He loves saying that phrase all the time to me, and guess what? He's right. You know, things come when they need to come. So there's no need to rush anything, and we can just grow naturally and respectful. Do it respectfully and at the right pace, and that's what that means, right? It will happen when it needs to happen. You know, whether you believe in God or karma or the universe or whatever, things happen for a reason, right? So I do believe that. Yeah, what train is that over there? Is that Chuo Line? Wow. I have no idea where I'm walking, by the way. I'm just enjoying my walk here, exploring the areas. So that, you know, that brings me back to like why, like people always ask me, why don't I make more clickbaity videos? I mean, I make a couple here and there, but my information is always true. But they ask me why I don't run ads on Google or Facebook, or why I don't use TikTok or Instagram, you know, stuff like that. And it's noisy. So yeah, basically why I don't use TikTok or Instagram or like post like crazy or put ads on Facebook or Google. The answer is pretty simple. I don't want to attract too much attention to myself. I want to attach a little bit to grow, but not too much where I ruin it or, you know, become overly annoying, I call it. I don't know. You know, hey, look at the 35 Lamborghinis in my garage. You know, like Ty Lopez, that kind of BS. I can't stand those guys, man. It's like, why do you need to be like that? If you just be cool, be normal, down to earth, and be good at what you're doing, you'll grow naturally. And that's what I hope for. I mean, I'd like to grow a little bit faster, but I'm not willing to risk it to try and do that. So basically, yeah, I'd rather grow slowly, help the right people, and do it sustainably, if that makes any sense, if you know what I mean. I mean, I could technically flood social media with clickbait and go viral, but honestly, I'm trying not to, because that would just accelerate the wrong kind of attention, and that's what I'm worried about. So, you know, and especially lately, I've noticed more and more Akiya ads popping up everywhere, especially on my Facebook, and a lot of them are from the same source. And I can't help but think about that and think, what happens when those ads reach the wrong people? That's what scares me. If somebody in the government or some politician or somebody who doesn't like you just sees that, and they could take it the wrong way, you know, so, or, you know, think, oh, what are these, who do they think these guys are? Come to Japan and think they can toy around with our real estate like that. real estate is a touchy topic because real estate it's for people to live, homes for people to live in. And this is something I deal with when I argue with people, because I do believe in capitalism. And this is the difference, my honest opinion, my smart opinion. It could be wrong or right, but in my opinion, yes, I can see how important housing are, and it is. And I also see the business side of it where people collect homes. Now, what the socialist kind of people would say is like, oh, why are you buying all these houses? Everybody deserves their house. Yeah, everybody deserves a house, but you need to earn it. Because not everybody's born at 30 years old with money, and you don't just get free houses. So what people like me, who understand that, but also understand the capitalist side, is where you don't be too greedy, you don't need like billions of dollars of housing, but you have enough housing where you provide housing to people, young people, who cannot rent or can't own a house yet, or people who come to a foreign country who can't buy a house or own yet because they just got here, or older people who just can't buy a house or don't want a house or they never had a house, or just people who don't want to own. Not everybody wants to own a house or have a loan or what have you, right? Now we all don't think the same way. Anyhow, I have X amount of houses, and yeah, I provide housing for people, right? I renovate them. I give them decent deals that agents normally wouldn't, and I provide a service. So it's not like I'm hogging all the housing here. This is a niche that's needed in Japan. But at the same time, I'm respecting it big time. I'm doing my best to anyways, you know? So I can understand the concerns of the one side, the socialist sides, and I can understand the sides of the capitalist side. So you gotta find the balance there. It's all about balance, like I always say. Yeah, you always see that word, Colin. Balance, balance, balance. Well, it's true, right? Life's about balance. Balance doesn't mean 50-50. Balance means the right thing at the right time. So, you know, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying this because with these ads, and if they hit the wrong people, then those wrong people might take it the wrong way and just out of spite want to do something to you. Hey, look at that, everybody. It's Mario Kart. Pretty cool. That's pretty neat. See, something like that has also become an issue. People don't like them on the street sometimes, so what are they gonna do? They might stop it from happening. You know, can it happen? We don't know, but I do understand why it's annoying, but it's also pretty cool. So, yeah, it is what it is. So anyhow, like I was saying, if the wrong person sees those ads or whatever, it could lead to policies, you know, different policies that might be designed to limit foreign buyers or even block them entirely. We don't know, right? The sky's the limit for them. Hey, entrance to the highway, cool. So, I mean, these are just concerns, and that's why I don't do clickbait videos and stuff, because, you know, I can't tell other people what to do and how to run their business, but this is why I don't do it. And I mean, the small amount I do, and even the business I get or whatever I do, is not a lot, but it's enough to sustain myself and give me the life I want. So, you know, why do I need to be greedy and try to grow too big for nothing I don't really need, and or annoy other people or just be a nuisance, you know? Like, do you like seeing those get rich quick scheme ads on Facebook, or those learn Japanese in 5 days ads? They're all nonstop. We all know these are bullcrap, and these people are annoying. You know, I'm not gonna name any names or whatever, but I see different kinds of ads on Facebook all the time. My Facebook wall becomes 90% BS propaganda or ads, and it's like, what is this? I'd rather just see some cat pictures, you know? So, yeah, it sucks. But I can't tell other people how to live their lives, and sometimes you just wish they'd notice on their own. But that, once again, that's just my opinion, and you know, some people may agree with me, some people might think I'm a moron, some people might disagree with me. It is what it is, my friends. Interesting. If you know where I am, leave a comment. Because I don't usually come to Tokyo that often, but a lot of contracts are done in Tokyo, so that's why I'm here. So, I mean, I don't even watch the news much anymore, but I've caught glimpses of the election debates while grabbing sushi at my local sushi place, because they have it on their TV up there. It's either baseball or news. So, and yes, I've seen some arguing about foreigners, and yes, there's parties openly talking about anti-foreign policies, you know, Japan first, which is, you know, it happens. I mean, not only the real estate stuff, but too many tourists and a lot of immigration, having problems in my area. Like my area has problems with Kurdish people in the Kawaguchi area. Some people moving out of the area because they don't want to deal with them. You got gangs of people hanging out. Whether they're causing problems or not, they're still intimidating to the local people. And I've talked to these local people about that, and most of them don't like it. But what do you do, right? So this is creating Japan first, and that leads to another thing and that thing. So yeah, it could be real estate, it could be safety for immigration, tourists, and then you got tourists who disrespect Japan anyways when they're here and don't follow the rules. There's just so many things, and you know Japan's a very slow changing lots of bureaucracy country, so they're not used to this. They're not like the open door policy where everybody comes into Canada, hey, let's invite 400,000 immigrants from the same country and destroy the whole system. Japan's not ready for that, you know? So these are just issues that, you know, every country has to deal with, and everybody has a different opinion on what should be done or not, you know? My opinions tend to be based, common sense, and you know, how would you like it? I mean, I'm an immigrant in this country and I really do appreciate it, but I don't want to see the floodgates open here because I want Japan to stay Japan. You're racist, you know, like whatever. This is, come on, man. If you owned a house, say you bought a house with your buddy, okay? Let's just put it this way. And you're both there, and you're living in one room. There's like 5 rooms in the house, and he's living in another room. Then suddenly your buddy invites 50 of his friends to move in, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, hey, this is our house. So I can do what I want too. And you're like, I didn't accept that, but you just got to live with it because you can't say anything. So, and that's something that Japanese people have an issue with. You know, like it's hard for them because they're not used to it. It's just like Japan's like in the 60s or 70s versus what North America was, you know, back in the day. So 50 years behind maybe in more ways than one, but in some ways they're 50 years ahead. Toilets and bathrooms and shower rooms. So anyhow, I mean, yeah, you know, immigration and all that stuff is a tough thing to handle, right? And you want to do it right. But who's to decide what the right way is? Yeah, you can see what's going on in Europe now with all the protests, stuff like that, you know. It's just two mindsets that are never going to be changeable. Humans are hardwired differently, unfortunately, and that's what it is. So I have more conservative values, and so that's why Japan suits me better, because I love my safety. You know, I love knowing my neighbors and speaking the same language, etc. It's just what I grew up around, and coming from Canada, which is more open to other things. I'm not against any of that stuff. Don't get me wrong. Don't read too much into this. It's just I prefer this than the other, and that's why I came to live here, because I know what I'm getting into. So if Japan just became like North America, then what's the point? You know, I don't need strip malls and this or that here. It's like, or the different lifestyle. I like Japan the way it is, and I've been here 25 years, and I can honestly say it's changing. It hasn't changed exponentially like North America has, but there's been a little cracks in the way it is. I mean, some are good things, obviously, but some not so good. So, and that's to be seen in the future again. But it's definitely different. Totally different. I'd say it started changing around 2010 and up-ish, and then even more after Corona. So a couple of phases, but the first 5 to 10 years here was golden, you know. Yeah, just different mentality. So yeah, that's just what I want to say, and I don't blame them for how the government would think and respond to this, because I honestly wish the same thing in Canada happened. I wish the government stepped in and sooner, before Vancouver's market spiraled out of control, because it's too late there now. And even a rundown house can cost you $1.5 million for a crap hole. Like, I'm trying to watch my language here, folks, sorry. So yeah, it's totally different, you know? $1.5 million for a house that needs to renovate it for another $500,000, and everybody milks you over there. It's ridiculous. One of my family members sold their house in East Vancouver, was it 2 or 3 years ago? And they sold it for $1.6 million or $1.55, I think it was. And it was a 100-year-old house. I'm thinking, you could take that money and buy 20 houses in Japan or 4 new ones. It's insanity, you know? So I just thought that was really, really weird. And yeah, I just don't want houses in Japan to be $1.5 million. Yes, I'd be okay because I'd make a fortune on my investments. But at the same time, I just don't like a country that's spiraling out of control like that with overpricing and inflation. And Canada just seems to have gone off the deep end, to be honest. You can justify it any way you want, but this is the reality of it. And that's why I'm a based person, because I can say that. Based person with balls. Because a lot of people won't even say what they're thinking sometimes. It's annoying. So here in Japan, where you can still buy a house for a price of a cup of coffee, okay, that would be in the middle of nowhere, but you know what I mean, it's a lot cheaper here. Especially in the suburbs. If you go 30 minutes outside of Tokyo, outside of Canada, like say Vancouver out to Burnaby or Coquitlam, prices don't change much. It goes from a super rip-off to just a rip-off. But in Tokyo to Saitama, which is like 30 minutes away, you go from expensive or decently priced in Tokyo, reasonably priced, to fair or dirt cheap in Saitama, which is like 30 minutes to an hour away. Anywhere else in the world, that's not happening. So it's pretty insane. Let's go up here. You know? So it's just, that's what I hope doesn't happen here, you know? And recently, I even had a comment on one of my recent videos saying a right-wing party was watching my videos and keeping an eye on other people. They mentioned in the comment, I'll put it here, it says something about me and Akiya Hub. You know, and the Japanese was written really, really well, so it made me feel like it was legit, but it could be somebody trolling me as well. And they were just concerned about our business practices or whatever. And obviously this guy doesn't watch me, because if he did, he would realize that I'm nothing. I'm a really, really small minnow in a Mediterranean sea of sharks. Or, yeah, are there sharks there? Shit. Anyhow, my metaphor is the fact that, you know, it's way different. I'm not an impact. I've helped 15 to 20 people over my time and own so many X amount of properties. So, yeah, I'm nothing. Or some people are massive, right? So it's a different way. And so why is he picking on me? No point to that, right? So I don't know, his comment might be BS, but it might be something for real. And I even asked him, I reached out to him saying, hey, let's meet up, let's talk, you know? Because while those right-wing parties can be extreme in some places, they're also concerned about something. So I'd like to find some middle ground with them, because finding the middle ground in politics is always a good way to go, but I know it's really hard. But honestly, it doesn't really matter which party wins in Japan. They're all going to be conservative in some way, which is a good thing. So that's just the label that they got. I mean, I don't know anything about Japanese politics, if I'm being honest. So, and yeah. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm doing little business here, and I'm not trying to take over the market. And my focus has always been on looking out for Japan and respecting the system here. You know, when I help clients find houses here, that's a good thing about when I do that. I can talk to the people, teach them about Japan while they're doing it, and make sure they're good people. And so far, I've had all really, really good people. A few really, really super gem people, man. You know, some really good guys out there. You know who you are. I can name names, but I'll keep it to myself. But no, some really cool dudes. And a lot of them speak some Japanese already and know the country really well and just feel like they want to live here, you know? And I feel like those are the kind of guys that I attract anyways to my channel, which is kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe they know who I am or feel a sense, they get a sense of who I am, so we just click right from day one. I mean, yeah, I've clicked with 90% of my clients, like we've known each other for forever. And some a little bit different, but it is what it is. So yeah. So that's been my mission, is just to respect the ecosystem and the community and real estate in Japan and the people themselves. I mean, more than the community of real estate here, the people and the country itself is way more important than that stuff. And it should be always be that way, because we're guests in this country, and we should appreciate that they let us live here. And we don't want to attract attention and blow that. And that's what really, really worries me, because I'm so thankful. I've been here 25 years, but I'm still thankful every day that they actually let me live in this amazing, beautiful, safe, affordable country. You know, you can take the negatives, but the positives outweigh out the negatives of Japan, and all the negatives are nitpicking BS crap things that are not important anyways. So look at that. Peaceful. Nobody getting shot. Nobody fighting. No protests around here. Okay, there are protests once in a while, but not here. They're nothing like North America. So, and if I ever felt like I was becoming a problem at what I'm doing with my YouTube channel or helping people, whatever, I'd stop. I don't need to do this, you know? And I don't want to attract attention or the wrong people or cause any issues inside this. So, yeah, I totally stop, and I can stop. It's not a big deal. I just enjoy doing it so much that it's like a hobby. It's a hobby that makes some cash, you know? And also make people happy as well. Because when my clients get those keys, or when I sign for my new house, it's such a cool feeling, you know? And all I want to see is people smiling. But I also want to see the Japanese locals be happy that they're getting good people in their neighborhoods without taking over them. You know what I mean? Because that's what happened in Canada growing up. You know, honestly, my neighborhood was more than 50% Chinese, maybe from Hong Kong. I'm not sure, because I was too young to even care about that. But I know that people were coming over because A, they were trying to get away from China before they took over Hong Kong, and B, because Canada was a lot cheaper at the time. So, you know, and then I'd have people in my school who didn't speak English, and neighborhoods that nobody spoke English, or they wouldn't even treat you normally. And it's like, I think the Japanese don't want that to happen here as well, because a lot of foreigners don't respect the local rules and laws, and they just don't care. You know, I talk to people about this stuff, and I always have to say sorry. Sorry, as a Canadian, you know. I don't even feel Canadian anymore, if I'm being honest, but that's my habit. So, and basically, like I said, what I do here is I buy houses that would otherwise just rot, and I turn them into something livable, and I help foreigners find houses here without paying outrageous agent fees. So I supply a service. So if a foreign renter comes here, they're gonna have issues. One, they're foreigners, so it's gonna be hard for them to rent to begin with. Here's a plane. 360, catch the plane. So like I said, one, it's hard for foreigners to rent here to begin with. Two, the fees at an agent are ridiculous. Three, if you have pets, it's even harder. So by me renovating houses, I give those people a place to live, and I give them sometimes a better deal, right? So, you know, and plus I speak English, and I can teach them. And also I help them hook up all their utilities, etc. You know, I've gone above and beyond for some of my tenants as well, which I'm trying to stop doing, because I'm also Japanese that way. I'm a yes man. If they ask me to do something, I'm like, what am I going to say? No. It's what I do. So basically, they get a home because I let them live because they're foreigners. I speak English, and I don't give them all the exorbitant starting fees like key money and all those different things, deposit, guarantor money, key changing money, insurance. Basically, if you rent from a property manager here, you're going to be paid between 3 or 4 to 6 months up front just to get a place. But with me, it's either 0 or 1, depending on how nice my place is. So, yes. So, I also run a course and offer services, but those were honestly just side quests that grew naturally out of my journey, because my original journey was just to take people on my journey of me and my properties. That's it. But I'm happy those came out and they were useful to other people, and I'm really thankful for the people who do use them, because it's amazing, you know? Yeah. But at the end of the day, I just want to make honest videos, help people, and contribute positively to the Akiya story, you know? Because Japan's changing. So I appreciate you listening to me blabbering on here. And if I've upset anyone, Japanese or not, I sincerely apologize. That wasn't my point of this video. Sorry it got a little bit longer than I expected, but I got a lot to say, you know. Sometimes I'm quiet, sometimes I'm not. But my message is very, 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 very simple. Let's grow wisely. Let's respect the culture, the pace, and the people. And most of all, let's make sure that this opportunity remains open for everyone for many years to come. So I appreciate you listening, and I just want to say love and peace, and kick assets, and cha-ching. Have a good day, everybody. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments.